Wide. On Tuesday, a group of lawmakers introduced a bill calling for the ban on police chokeholds after the death of Eric Garner, a New York man who died while being restrained by police. I want to bring in one of those lawmakers, Democratic Congressman from New York, Hakeem Jeffries. Congressman, good to have you with us.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Before we talk about Baltimore, obviously we have to talk about what's going on right now. We're going to get there in a second, but I do want to talk about your excessive use of force prevention act. I want you to make the case for us of why you think this needs to be a nationwide ban, considering the fact that here in New York, for example, it's already banned by police.
Well, that's precisely the problem, that there are departments all across the United States of America, in Los Angeles, in Chicago, in Philadelphia, in Washington, D.C., and of course in New York, that prohibit, limit, or discourage the use of chokeholds. Yet we understand that chokeholds continue to be used, sometimes with deadly effect, as in the Garner case, all across the country. So it's not sufficient simply to ban a policy through departmental practice. We've got to elevate it, embed it in law, if we really and truly want to end it. It's an unreasonable practice. It's an irresponsible practice. We want to make it an unlawful practice.
I'm curious what your thoughts are. We know that Mayor de Blasio of New York earlier this year, when a local city council person put forward a bill to also ban chokeholds, he and Commissioner Bill Bratton of the NYPD both have come out against it. In fact, de Blasio is saying he thinks it's a mistake because there could be a scenario where a police officer finds himself in a one-on-one situation wrestling with a suspect where his life, that officer's life, is in danger. What is your reaction to that?
Well, for the life of me, I can't understand that position, because the New York Police Department has essentially prohibited in the strongest possible way the use of chokeholds for more than 20 years. Yet we still see chokeholds being used. Not just in the Eric Garner case. There was a study that was done by the City Department of Investigation that revealed that there are hundreds of complaints of chokeholds being deployed by police officers pending before the Civilian Complaint Review Board over the last few years. And this is not just a New York City problem. And when you've got a high-profile tragedy like the Eric Garner case, it exposes an underlying issue, and it demands a legislative response that hopefully will lead to public policy change. That's exactly what needs to occur in Baltimore, as well as all across the country, as a result of what's been put forward before the American people.
Police tactics are coming into question, as you mentioned, in Baltimore, in several communities and cities across our nation. But right now, obviously, all eyes are on Baltimore. I want you to listen to what the president had to say when he was asked about this. He addressed it. Let's listen to the sound.
If our society really wanted to solve the problem, we could. It's just it would require everybody saying this is important, this is significant, and that we don't just pay attention to these communities when a CVS burns, and we don't just pay attention when a young man gets shot or has his spine snapped.
So, Congressman, how do we get America to pay attention and not just say, oh, that's just a black issue, that's just a Baltimore issue, that's just a Ferguson issue?
Well, this is really an American issue. First of all, you've got young people in America who are undereducated and over-policed, and that's resulting in an unnecessary entanglement in the criminal justice system that leads to a loss of hope, a loss of opportunity, and really dooming these individuals, these young people, to life sentences of disadvantage and despair. All of America should care about that. One of the things that we can do is end mass incarceration, and thankfully here in Congress and all across the country, you've got people on the left and on the right, Democrats and Republicans, who engage in serious conversations about fixing our broken criminal justice system, and that would be a wonderful step to make sure that this is not just a passing moment, but a permanent movement toward change.
Well, let's hope that you and your fellow congressmen can link arms and work in that way together. Hakeem Jeffries, thank you for joining us today on New Day.
Allison? Thank you.